Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Movies with Melody podcast. This is your host, Melody Miller. For today's episode, I will be reviewing a classic remake, The Color Purple 2023. First, I will give you the background information, and then I'll go into the movie components, the director and cast spotlight, the cinema scale, the movie evaluation, and lastly, I'll give you guys the data analysis. Now, The Color Purple is a story about two sisters who were tragically separated when they were teenagers. The story mainly focuses on the protagonist, Celie, an African-American girl who endures ill treatment from the male figures in her life. In this novel, originally written by Alice Walker, the audience learns Celie's struggles through her letters to God. Alice Walker, an African-American novelist from Georgia, wrote this novel back in 1982. Fast forward to 1985, The Color Purple becomes a movie directed by Steven Spielberg. This movie starred Whoopi Goldberg, Danny Glover, and Oprah Winfrey. So, what did Alice Walker think of her book becoming a movie? According to sfgate.com, when Alice Walker first saw the movie, she said, and I quote, "Everything about it seemed wrong, especially the opening musical score, which sounded like it belonged in Oklahoma." Okay, Miss Alice Walker clearly wasn't feeling the movie. However, it is reported that later on, she changed her mind, saying, "I have mixed feelings." She also said, "Remember, the movie is not the book." You know, that's a powerful statement. There are many things in movie adaptations that are exaggerated and amplified. This quote made me think of that one episode from Chris Rock's Everybody Hates Chris, where Chris watched a movie instead of reading the book he was assigned for a school assignment. Check this out.
So how do you like the book so far?
Oh, it's great. I already turned in my report.
Already turned it in? I'm only like halfway through the book. I've never seen you crank out a book report this fast.
I didn't read the book. I watched the movie.
Wait, what movie?
The Invisible Man. You know, the guy drinks the serum, disappears.
Dude, the movie The Invisible Man has absolutely nothing to do with the book Invisible Man. I don't know what you wrote, but whatever it is, you better hope Miss Rivera doesn't read it.
Too bad I didn't write that paper in invisible ink.
That was funny. Moving on, Steven Spielberg's 1985 version was remade in 2023, and I'm excited to break it down. The new Color Purple was released on Christmas Day in theaters all across America. The movie is 2 hours and 21 minutes long. It's also rated PG-13 and categorized as a musical or drama. The summary says, torn apart from her sister and her children, Celie faces many hardships in life, including an abusive husband, with support from a sultry singer named Shug Avery, as well as her stand-her-ground stepdaughter. Celie ultimately finds extraordinary strength in the unbreakable bonds of a new kind of sisterhood. According to USA Today, The Color Purple has grossed $50 million so far. Wow. That's a lot of money, and I expect this number to increase from today. On to the director and cast spotlight. This movie was directed by Blitz Bazawule, a filmmaker and musician who was born in Ghana and based in New York. He is known for directing The Burial of Kojo and co-directing Beyoncé's Black is King. As many of you may know, The Color Purple 2023 was produced by Oprah and Steven Spielberg among Quincy Jones and Scott Sanders. The movie stars Fantasia Barrino, who played the older Celie, Taraji P. Henson, who played Shug Avery, and Danielle Brooks, who played Sophia. Among these three powerhouse actresses, the movie casted Halle Bailey as young Nettie, Sierra as the older Nettie, Felicia Pearl and Posse as young Celie, Coleman Domingo as Mr., Dion Cole as Alfonso, her as Squeak, Louis Gossett Jr. as Mr.'s father, Tamela Mann as the First Lady, David Alan Grier as Reverend Samuel Avery, and Anjanou Alice Taylor as Celie and Nettie's mother. Ooh, that was a long list of cast members. Alright, enough with the context. Let's jump into the movie review. I decided to grade this movie using the cinema scale from medium.com. According to media.com, this grading scale contains 10 essential elements to look for in a movie review, each representing one slice of the film pie. I'm grading the movie on its plot, story arc and plausibility, attraction, premise and entertainment value, theme, identity and depth, acting, characters and performance, dialogue, storytelling and context, cinematography, visual language, lighting, setting and wardrobe, editing, pace and effects, soundtrack, sound design and film score, directing, vision and execution, and lastly, the it factor, which is a one-of-a-kind and transcendent feeling. Now we're on to the movie evaluation. I rated each element on a scale of 1 to 5. I gave the plot a 5 out of 5 because it mostly followed the same plot as the original and the movie was not hard to understand. I also gave the attraction a 5 out of 5 because the movie was a musical. There are many catchy songs such as Huckleberry Pie and Shug Avery. There was also a lot of dancing that captivated the audience's attention. I gave the theme a 5 out of 5 because it embodied the same themes from the book and the original. The acting received a 5 out of 5. The cast for the movie was phenomenal. I thought it was amazing that they found Felicia, the actress that looks just like Fantasia, to play younger Celie. And fun fact, Fantasia starred as Celie in the 2007 Broadway musical adaptation of The Color Purple. And Danielle Brooks also made her debut in the 2015 revival of The Color Purple, playing her character, Sophia. Moving on to the dialogue, I gave that a 5 out of 5 because every character spoke with a southern accent, which accurately fits the time period and setting. For cinematography, I said a 4 out of 5. Some of the scenes were hard for me to see because they were too dark. I think there could have been a better usage of natural light, but overall I think this overly dark look contributed to the authenticity of the early 1900s. I gave the editing a 5 out of 5 because there were smooth transitions throughout the film. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary and the movie moved at a good pace. For the soundtrack, I gave the movie a 4 out of 5. The soundtrack was pretty good. Most of the cast were professional singers. Taraji P. Henson shocked the audience with her vocal skills. It was really good to see people who don't normally sing. For the directing, I said a 4 out of 5. I think the vision was executed to a certain degree. I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding the movie at first. There were people saying things like, why would they remake this movie and things of that nature. But after people watched it, those comments started to die down. Given the fact that this book has been transformed into various forms of media, there are only so many ways that you can retell the same story without changing the plot dramatically. But overall, I think this was a great adaptation. Lastly, for the it factor, I said a 5 out of 5. This movie was very sentimental and inspiring. After watching this movie, I wanted to get the book, and I felt the spirit, the Color Purple spirit. Good news. We've reached a point you've all been waiting for. I have tallied up all of the individual scores and calculated the overall score. Drum roll, please. I gave the movie a 4.7 out of 5 stars. I think this is a stellar rating. To get more insight on whether my rating was accurate, I decided to check the Internet Movie Database and other resources to get public opinion. So the Internet Movie Database gave the movie a 7.7 out of 10. This rating is somewhat equivalent to 4 stars, which is not too far from my rating. Let's check Google reviews. Okay, they have 4.1 out of 5 stars, and that's good. Rotten Tomatoes gave the movie a 7.4 out of 10, and according to the Tomato Meter, 87% of viewers think the movie was fresh. Also, 95% of the audience gave the movie 3.5 stars or higher. And out of these ratings, the average was 4.7 out of 5 stars. But what do you know? That's what I said. In addition to these ratings, I wanted to see some public comments. So I decided to check Google's audience reviews. One person said, and I quote, "I saw the original movie. Loved it. Saw it on Broadway with LaChance, Fantasia, and Cynthia Erivo as Celie. Loved all 3 shows. Loved this version as well. Each was excellent in its own way. This 2023 version is a great blending of the original movie and the Broadway play. The acting is outstanding. Fantasia does an excellent job of taking us on an emotional journey as Celie evolves, and her singing is top-notch. Oscar time. Danielle Brooks is outstanding as Sophia. Her scene at the dinner table is a masterclass in acting. Oscar. Taraji is excellent as Shug. Coleman Domingo is incredible as Mr., Harpo and Nettie are played to perfection. The choreography is superb, blending the old with the new. Yes, people, it's a musical, but with just the right amount of singing and dancing. This version makes you laugh and cry. You don't want to miss it." End quote. Another person said, "I am not always in the mood for more serious movies, but the moment I sat down, I was swept up in the story. Seeing the young sisters, Celie and Nettie, on screen, I could just feel their love and joy and the strength it brought them, even after they were separated." Fantasia Barrino delivered a fantastic performance as Celie, and Taraji P. Henson was an absolute delight every moment she was on screen. What could have been a competitive and mean-spirited relationship instead showcased a beautiful and profoundly supportive connection, even under the strangest of circumstances. Danielle Brooks was also incredible, and I hope we get to see so much more of her on screen in the years to come. Coleman Domingo's Mr. had depth and nuance that only made the character more despicable. Hats off to all the actors. There wasn't a weak spot in the bunch. I had never gotten around to the 1985 version of the story and went and watched it afterwards to compare. It is well done also, but I decidedly liked the newer one better. That moment where Celie finally stands up for herself will stick with me for the rest of my life. Just chills. For anyone who has been walked all over, I hope you one day find Celie's strength. End quote. By the way, these two audience reviews gave the movie 5 stars. Let's take a look at people who had opposing views. This person said, and I quote, "Meh. The Color Purple gave me mixed feelings. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I love the book. I love the original movie. I love the Broadway show. On the other hand, this musical I liked, but I didn't love. It just felt rushed. While the music is great, photography is outstanding, and the costumes are very well executed, but the acting is mediocre at best, and casting Fantasia and Taraji was a mistake. I'd rather see Cynthia Erivo playing Celie and Jennifer Hudson as Suge. Male cast is a bit disappointing as well. Danielle Brooks was excellent. Loved her in every scene, and she killed it. I give this movie 2 out of 5 stars, and I'll be really surprised if it gets a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars." End quote. Similarly, this person said, "I saw this movie because I felt like I should. It was better than expected, but the original is still at a higher standard. Fantasia did a wonderful job as Celie. Taraji should not have been cast as Suge. It just didn't work or fit to me. Too many celebrities took away from the deeper meaning of the movie. Her and Sierra are very talented singers that didn't sing in a musical. Those roles could have been given to rising actresses. Still a good movie and worth the watch, but seeing the original is a must." End quote. Lastly, another person said, "This movie was filled with bad acting, horrible Southern accents, mediocre recreation attempts, and a lot of rushed scenes. None of the attempts to land original lines were successful. Now, I do agree some of the scenes were good, but overall I don't feel it's a successful movie. But if you're a fan of TP's, Taraji P. Henson's work, it will likely be outstanding in your opinion. I've discussed it with my friends who are current actors, and they feel the same way. One of them was even in the original Broadway show. But you be the judge." End quote. Well, this person is absolutely right with that last sentence. You be the judge. You have to watch this movie for yourself to really gain your own true opinion. If you haven't seen this movie or the original, I highly suggest that you check them out. You can now stream The Color Purple 2023 on Max, formerly known as HBO Max, YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play Movies and TV, as well as many other streaming platforms. Well, that's it for this episode of The Movies with Melody. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned to see which movie I review next. I'm Melody Miller. Stay safe out there.